Okay, and you might be thinking, let's start a hustle, a side hustle. We want some money, we want some dosh, we want some cash.
We want a project.
We want something to do. But while hustling is good and we should be creative and make stuff, hustling can also be a problem. In fact, the University of Cambridge did research and found that relentless pursuit of getting more stuff actually leads to a diminish of quality of life.
I think the key there is relentless pursuit, isn't it?
Exactly, and it can lead to burnout. That's actually what the University of Cambridge has found. So as Christians, what do we do when we want to make more money or we want to do more things, but also we want to do and live our life biblically? How do we find this balance? And how also can it affect our marriage?
Yes. So in this video, we're going to talk about what is anti-hustle, how can it benefit us, and also what if you actually need to make some more money or do a side project which is really important to you.
Okay, so we all know what hustling is. It's having that project, that thing that you spend all your time and your attention on in your work so hard. What's anti-hustle? Anti-hustling is so important. It's the idea of basically rest. Living life at peace. Does this mean that we get home from work and we're just like, or I can't bother, or we're just not going to do anything? No, that's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is the importance of having rest.
Yep. And as a nerd, one of those things that we love to do, I think this is a nerd thing maybe. You're at the dinner table and it goes quiet, your mind is at the project. Every time. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Can be useful, but it can be very dangerous. So
yeah, at the dinner table, you should spend time with the people that
that's
there.
right.
And so anti-hustling can benefit you because it makes you think about what are your priorities. When you have a hustle, what are your priorities? Is it just about the thing that you're aiming towards, or the money, or maybe it's that project, that sort of creative outlet, or is it actually the people in your life? Okay.
Or, I'm going to jump in here.
Yeah.
Or is it a tool to just be alone from everybody else?
Yeah. Some people
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true. People use hustling as their escape method.
Yeah.
So when hustling becomes more important to you than your family, than your kids, than your spouse, all of those healthy and important relationships in your life, that is when your hustle has become, well, quite frankly, it can become an idol because you're putting your hustle in front of people who God has put in your life for you to serve.
Yes. There is a biblical foundation for balance. For example, Proverbs chapter 14 verse 30 says, "A heart at peace brings life to the body, but envy rots the bones." Jesus said in Matthew chapter 11, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are weary, he'll give you rest." A good example.
Yeah, and he wasn't just talking about...
He wasn't just talking about rest from sins. He's talking about holistically, there's a good key word there, holistically, all of you,
areas.
all of life's areas.
Yeah.
One can't be striving all the time. That's not healthy. And burnout, I don't know if any of you guys have had it, but it is rubbish. It's not a nice thing. And if you're in need of doing some project or get some money or whatever, it always comes back to money, but it isn't just about money. Then burnout can be so destructive. So be careful. Part of biblical balance is modeling good godly characteristics to the people around you, which usually in a marriage, implies children. So one of the things that kids need to see their parents doing is resting. Now, that's not just, sleeping in until 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I'm resting. Resting can also look like going for a walk, spending time with the kids. What if it's playing Xbox with your kids and you're actually interacting with them? That's a cool thing to do. So, the key is one of God's main priority in all of life is relationship with Him. And if the Lord is our template, then relationship with other people is pretty important. So in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4, it talks about training up the kids in the way of the Lord. Relationship, but also top 10 commands. It's all over that. We're supposed to teach our children the fear and admonition of the Lord, etc., etc., which includes a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah.
Even the Lord rested on the seventh day.
Yeah, and so like one of the top 10 rules is that like keep the Sabbath. So it's all that. It's about having rest.
Yeah.
And that doesn't look the same for everybody. But what I'm saying is like it's God requires us to have rest, and 100% we should be modeling that part of our character. Often as Christians we can feel okay, we're supposed to moral being honest, and we're supposed to moral having good behavior. Those things are true, but when it comes to rest we can sort of just ignore that bit.
Yeah.
But if we're actually trying to follow God's law, we should have rest.
Also, just as a theological point, it's a Christian channel after all. On the Sabbath day he looked at all that he had done and said it was good. So he enjoyed it. In his rest, he enjoyed what was done. That's a cool thing.
But all of that is very nice. We should have rest. We should have good godly character, etc., etc. But what do you do if you just actually need to make some more money? We live in London. The whole city is about moving fast paced. You're doing this, you're doing that. It's all about hustle, 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 doing. We've just talked about the importance of resting and having balance in our lives and teaching godly characters to our children if we have them. But if you need to make more money, how do you have that balance? What do?
You have to navigate that thing.
100%. One of the things that we have found that helps us as a couple is to timetable our hustles together. Both of us work pretty much full-time job. We're both involved in our church ministry. We are both, we do this, we have YouTube. And so we have a lot of stuff going on in both of our lives as individuals and as a couple and as a family. And so what we have found that really helps us is to timetable our hustles together, not like apart. But we have a calendar, we do it like at least once a month. We sit down and we look at when things are happening and we make sure that we're doing it together. So it's not just me taking this is happening on Tuesday and that's supposed to happen on Thursday. Or in the back of his head, he's like, well, I'm supposed to do this. No, but actually together we have a calendar, we have it on our wall. It's something that we both have complete access to. But carve out that time together is a way for you to still make the extra money if you need to do it, but you're doing it as a couple, and so one of you is not carrying all that burden.
And like we did on our most recent timetable thing, sometimes you just have to strip things down a tiny bit and make it more efficient so that you're carving out time even within the hustle.
Yeah, and you're carving out time to rest.
Yeah.
Don't think to yourself, well, I've got X amount of days in the month and I have got to do this X, Y, and Z, and there's so many things to do. One of your things to do is actually to do nothing.
Yes.
Carving out that special time, whether that is a date night or it's a day out with the kids, a family day, whether that's a chill day or just sitting at home and playing Xbox with the kids or whatever. But making sure you intentionally put time in for rest. So you have that sort of, while you're hustling and trying to make more money or whatever, you're still having that anti-hustle mentality of actually, no, God has told me I need to rest. So
with that comes this. We all need to know it's good to be productive, clearly. It's good to be productive. If we're going to get biblical on this, you could say, go to the and thou sluggard, etc., etc.
It's like God doesn't want us to be lazy. There's a difference between being lazy and being restful.
True.
It's the same thing.
Anyhow, all of us have value regardless of the level of productivity. God doesn't want us to be lazy, true, but he also valued us enough before the foundations of the earth that he gave himself for us. So clearly, before we did anything, we were valued. So with that, another thing that should be coupled with it, I don't know how it connects together, but it does. You need to maintain the house. We need to make sure that we maintain the house as a place of non-strife. And that's really critical. So let's say, for example, if I work from home and all the kids are out at school and they come back home and they're getting my way because I'm working from home or something like that, there needs to be a level at which it stops, because they need to come home and not be at strife in their home. I need to not be at strife in my home. So this is a critical thing. We must maintain the home as a place of non-strife, which also is a really good example for the children. And with that said, all of these hustles, side projects, everything, and they can be really important because you love them. They could be really important because they make money if you need money, which also is a thing that needs to be addressed in terms of stressing, but but in order to help you maintain a non-strife, we have a video about conflict resolution. Before you get into strife, look at how you're going to resolve problems before they arrive.
And with that, guys, we will see you on the next video. Bye.
Take care. Bye.